Let's go to the Eastern Conference, the 8-7 matchup, which is going to be pretty fascinating. Yep. Miami Heat take on the Atlanta Hawks. Opening line here had the Heat as a 5.5-point favorite with a total of 228. Market has responded a little bit. We are down to 5, and in some spots 4.5. Those are starting to really proliferate the market, Kelly, with a total of 226.5. So this is the question, once again. This is just all I put in my rundown. I don't have any other notes. No, I do. Is the betting market overvaluing Miami once again?
Yeah. They are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
I was really surprised by the opener of 5.5.
I was too. I will put it this way. I think the market's off a bit. Have I bet the Hawks, though? No, I haven't.
Join the party, baby.
I haven't. Yeah, I know. You did bet them, correct? Yeah, you bet them?
Yes, I did. I took 5.
Okay, you took 5. Yeah, it would be Hawks or pass for me here. I might look to get involved live. Like this is one of those where I don't trust the Heat's offense at all. So if this team comes out firing here, making some shots early, I will be in on the Hawks live. But you and I, as we've discussed on Hardwood Handicappers basically all season long, because we had Hawks division tickets. Thanks, Atlanta, for getting that done. That's cool. As we discussed, they were 500 and like the definition of 500 team.
The Heat were literally all season just going, take the division. And the Hawks just refused to do it. So for this, and I will say, I would understand anybody who wants to bet Miami here. Let's go back to the start of last season. If you go back to the start of last season and include last season's playoffs, Miami is 10-3 straight up, 8-4-1 against the spread against Atlanta. Mm-hmm. Okay? So you totally understand why anybody would want to come in, because since the beginning of last year, Miami has pretty much owned this season series. And when you look at Trae Young and his performance in these games, how about last year in the playoffs? 15.4 points on 31.9% shooting from the floor.
Brutal.
It was brutal. It was really bad watching that series in terms of that slog that he had to go through. The difference is and has to be DeJounte Murray, because DeJounte Murray was not part of that playoff series last year, obviously not part of the playoff series this year. And I just go back to, Kelly, at the beginning of March, these two teams played a 2-game set in Miami with a day off in between. Miami closed -3 and -2.5. They won both, failed to cover one. For those who don't remember, you might. DeJounte Murray hit a meaningless 3 at the end to get it to, I think, within 1. I think it was a 2, so that they covered that number. But I do this all the time when it comes to some of these numbers, which is the market a month ago said that these two teams were essentially equals with each other on a neutral. Now, because this is a play-in game, like what's changed? Because you go back over the last month, okay, since those 2 games, Kelly, Miami, 9-7 straight up, 7-9 against the spread, a plus 1.3 net rating in non-garbage time. Atlanta, 9-8 straight up, 7-9-1 against the spread, and a plus 1.4 net rating in non-garbage time. They've been carbon copies of one another when the market said that they were only essentially equals, or 1 point difference on a neutral. And here we are, market opens up 5.5.
Yeah, no, I am okay with, like you said, I would lean towards your bet in this matchup. Completely okay. Anybody deciding to bet the Miami side here. How I had this really rated out of Miami, maybe a small favorite here on a neutral, maybe a point to them. So then you add in home court, it's 4. Yeah, maybe I will give them a little extra for. Do I think there's a coaching advantage here and stuff like that? Yeah. Does that really factor in the point spread? Not really, but maybe a point.
Yeah.
So then we're talking about right in the range where it's at. So for me, this is a pretty easy one for me to pass on. I think the point spread's about right. Again, though, if I see them get off to a fast start offensively, and I can get in on Atlanta with a better number than this is definitely a live spot I've got, sir.
The other angle here that is very much worth tracking, it's been kind of odd for Miami. And over their last 6 games, their defense has been better. They got a defensive rating of 112 per 100 possessions over their last 12 games. But if you go the larger sample size, Kelly, since February 13th, Miami's actually 21st in non-garbage time defensive efficiency. Their defensive rating is 118.6. And this has been, look, Miami, I think, is one of the hardest teams to get a read on when it comes to data and statistics.
Yeah.
Because their lineups change so frequently. They've kind of been in and out. They've changed personnel a little bit. Kevin Love has played a little bit more of a bigger role for them since he got acquired. So there is some noise there. But overall, it is interesting to watch how this defense has kind of been operating below average.
It's been on the decline all season.
Right. Oh, and to add to that, their offense has never caught up.
Right.
So their offense has been pretty subpar, but their defense has started to decline a little bit. And it goes back to just kind of full circle where we started this conversation. Miami is the worst ATS team in the NBA for a reason. The market consistently overvalued them all season long. They are 30, 50, and 2 against the number this season. And I just don't understand because, you kind of lick your finger, test the wind on what people think about Miami, and you keep hearing dangerous team, watch out, going to roll the Hawks. And I don't know what you've seen from the 82 games that led you to believe that this is still the team from last year that made it to within essentially a shot of the NBA Finals.
Completely agree. I mean, you know me. I had a big ticket on them 2 years ago. Atlanta I had a ticket on in this division because I kind of saw that, thought those wins were kind of changing last year in this division. And this year, I thought it was Atlanta's to win. They didn't end. As we've already hit on, they didn't take care of business. I think the other thing I'll give to Miami here is they are about as healthy as they've been all season long, kind of going in the playoffs here. This is a team I do respect that they know how to manage that stuff well. When, the playing time, rest players and all that. I think Jimmy Butler will be a bit of a tough matchup for Atlanta, especially with when I say a tough matchup on Jimmy Butler, it's how do you prevent him from getting the free throw line, right? If you want to make him take jumpers all day long, I'd rather live with that. You can't have him shooting 17 free throws, though, in this game, and that's what he's been doing, and that's basically been Miami's entire offense all season long. So how do you shut that down needs to be number one priority for Atlanta.
A player prop angle here, because I've got a couple for each of these games. Trae Young assists. If you look at this season, he's averaged 19.8 points, only on 35.6% shooting from the floor, but Miami has made it a point to get the ball out of his hands. He's averaged 9.8 assists per game against Miami this season.
Yep. Love that.
If he's getting the ball out of his hands because he's getting double or he's getting bodies thrown at him, well, then it would mean guys like DeJounte Murray have a little bit more success, but the assist rate goes up. Be interesting to see what the assist market is like for him once these start to get hung with some regularity.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.